Warning: this video blog or vlog could contain harsh opinions and foul language. If you do not appreciate said content or material, well, you could just fuck right off.
Greetings, internet people. RantingRamsay here. How are you all doing today? I'm doing pretty fucking good. I actually got a day off. I'm loving it. And I decided to go ahead and do something that quite a number of people have been asking about in comments in my videos and me private messages about for quite some time. And what that basically is people keep asking me, when are you, Ramsay, going to play your bass for us? And I have heard that question so many times that it's actually started to get just a little tiny bit annoying. But I understand that since I'm trying to entertain people here on YouTube, that a decent amount of my job is listening to what my fans want to see and giving them that. So I finally broke down and I did it. Now, I want to say a couple of things before we get into the splices, because I recorded a long video and then chopped it up. And one of the things I want to say is I am badly out of practice. I have been working my ass off for almost the last fucking year. I got the job that I have now almost a year ago. I'm a manager, and I put in anywhere between 40 to 70 hours a week, depending on what they need of me. So I have had zero time to pick this fucking thing up and do some work with it, which makes me incredibly sad as a musician, or amateur musician, or aspiring musician, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It makes me incredibly sad that I have become so badly out of practice. I didn't want to paint myself as some perfect musician or anything like that. So in a lot of these cuts, you're going to see mistakes. You're going to hear mistakes and numbers. And the other thing you're going to notice is that the audio level is really fucking low, because I live in an apartment complex, and if I turned my rig up as loud as it would need to be to sound clear on here, I would have people pounding on my door in less than 5 minutes. So I apologize for the low audio level, and the first little bit you're going to see here is just basically me screwing around. The chord progression, root progression that you're going to hear is something that I play around with all the time, because it's basically a typical metal progression. You hear this particular progression in a lot of metal songs, and believe it or not, you actually hear it in a few pop songs as well, but we're not going to get into that. So enjoy this little bit of me screwing around with one of my favorite progressions. see is a little two-part progression grind thing that I've been playing around with for years. It's really appealing to me. I like it a lot. I've never really found a place to put it in a song in its entirety. But it's one of the things I just have been playing around with almost since like 6 months after I picked up a bass guitar, which is years ago. So, enjoy. Next piece deserves a little bit of an explanation. I will try to make this as quick as possible because this video is obviously very long. I wrote this little piece, progression, whatever you want to call it, one day when I was hanging out with my childhood best friend. We've been best friends since the age of 8. Excuse me. I was about 17, 18, 19 at the time. I can't remember exactly. And I was hanging out down in his basement. I had my guitar with me, my bass, and he got a call from his girlfriend at the time, and they got into one of those extremely long, drawn-out, drama bullshit phone calls that we all know and hate. And I was listening, obviously, to only one half of the conversation, and just the tedium, the repetition that I was hearing from my best friend in his half of the conversation musically translated itself for me into this. Once again, as quickly as possible, a little bit of prefacing for the next clip. When I first got my bass guitar at the age of 17, I could barely afford the guitar itself, so I had no amplifier and no way to make the sound louder, I guess you could say, obviously, kind of redundant. So I actually became very adept at drone riffs, and any of you who are not musically inclined, a drone riff is any riff that uses 2 or more strings where one or more of those strings remains in an open position the entire time, and all the action happens on a different string. So this is actually one of the first drone riffs I ever wrote, and it's one of my favorites. Enjoy. Fuck it, can't remember it. The next thing you're going to hear or see, both, is another drone riff that is... There's an awkward story behind this song, and I don't want to tell it to you. Just understand that this particular melody, this song, is something that has never been finished. It's completely and totally amorphous. It changes slightly every time that I play it because, well, honestly, it's kind of personal. I can't really tell you. Enjoy what I call the death song. Next thing I want to show you is basically what my thought process is when I'm playing around with something that catches my ear and I want to try to develop it for something that I might use later. So basically what you're about to see is the evolution of a riff. to show you something I have been playing around with and working on for fucking years, and I still have trouble playing it perfectly. It's something that I honestly wrote out of the blue one night. I gotta be honest, I was bleep off my ass on in my mom's garage and playing around with my bass guitar and came up with this. That night is the only night I have ever played it perfectly. Fucking around with variations on tap triplets on a bass guitar. Enjoy. I'm RantingRamsay. Peace.
Hey, did you get all that, man?
Douche.